Hi guys, my name is Borodante, and welcome back to Overpaint, which means I go to my Patreon page, and today I'll choose one submission, and I'll try to improve the picture and give the author some advice. So I'll be doing just that right after this quick word from this channel sponsor, Wingfox. Cyberpunk Art and Drawing course on wingfox.com. Right now, the lecturer Park Jung-kyu is covering all the necessary steps to get a charming female face and hair. He also already covered the basics about selecting and developing the outfit for the character, making sure that it feels and looks the way the real outfit would. This is the kind of stuff I'm really interested in. Especially I like that the professional artist is talking about the logics behind the anime style and what kind of thought process leads to this kind of art style, which is so much better than just, learning how to draw anime by watching anime. This stuff is really satisfying and useful. And overall, I find this course very exciting because it's aimed at the beginners, so everyone can join in and get really decent results and habits for getting much better in this direction. So if you guys are interested, check out the link in the description. The course is available with a big discount before it's fully released at $69, plus an extra discount code is also available in the video description. Today's patient is Tattoo. Tattoo, like the band. Hi Boro, hello. I used to try to draw with outlines and add color with the layer method, but soon I saw your episode Make Your Own Damn Brushes, and you said that painting should look ready at any point. I discarded them. The layers. I like realism more, so it was kinda nonsense to paint like that anyway, so big thanks for your videos. They are very helpful. I'm glad you liked my approach, and obviously it's working out pretty damn good, but do keep in mind that you can paint very realistic stuff using layers as well. It would just have like different strong sides, and I think you can't paint everything with it. Haven't really seen you overpaint any dark art in a long time now, so here's one that could really need your help. I like to keep the face in the dark but still show it. Yeah, I can see that. I can't get it right, please help me. Also, any tips how to paint movement to the hands? Movement to the hands. Alright, let's see what we can do. So, I can already say I like the composition a lot. I don't see any problems with it. I feel like there may be some issues with the perspective. Like it feels that that forearm is not as close to us as this hand. So for this case, I think we want that super strong perspective. Although maybe I would go with somehow making it not as strong by moving the camera a bit away from the piano right here, but this can also work. Another thing, you said it was hard for you to show the movement in the hands. I think, like in here, there's a bit of a weird distortion in shape, but like it's almost fine, I would say. In this case, I feel like this pose for the hand is really like, it feels like it's really broken, like I can't even normally make that gesture right now. It's like stronger angle than that. And because of that, of course, if it looks broken, you can't really read the movement in that. So I would probably tilt this part differently so it would be more like this, and figure out how I want to make the hands from there, maybe something like that. I know maybe it's too much comedy in that pinky, but it may be not that funny if we won't make it that strong, or like lift it but don't straighten it up. That's the difference between funny and not funny. Okay, another thing, generally I really like the rendering. It's actually really cool. I like a certain amount of aerial perspective there, really like blending everything together into this one atmosphere. So that's working out really cool, and that's something you can only do if you really work in one layer. So all of that is really awesome. One thing only on the lighting, and you said you had problems with the lighting up the face. I feel like what you need to do, you sort of painted the whole face, lit up kind of from the front, and then like darkened it as much as you could so it would be sort of visible but almost not, but you can kind of see absolutely everything. And the point of keeping something in the dark is that some features are actually lost. That makes it mysterious and not kind of funny, you know, kind of lame. He's supposed to be that mysterious, but you can see like everything. It's a bit funny. So what I'm gonna do, I actually want to work a bit with that lighting from the side. I feel like the nose should catch more of that light. Well, it's dimmer, so it will be like that, and maybe I'll spread that light a little bit all over the face, like make that angle a bit stronger, and that on its own may be enough for us to just go ahead and erase many of the like other features of the face. And you see, immediately we kind of see half of the face, which is just enough to define the face because faces are symmetrical. That works out great, and that's an awesome mysterious look right there. So I'm gonna do that. Also in the original, the nose is really squished in, so there's a problem with geometry. If we have the center of the face and here, the nose is literally just drawn like even side here and here, which is really weird since noses stick out forward, even as small of a nose as mine. So it needs to go like that. And another thing to fix, I think, is either this eye needs to be a bit closer or this eye needs to be a bit further away from the nose. Because I feel like that's another moment where you just literally made these even distances that don't really work here. The nose bridge, is that what it's called? This part is also like convex, so it's sticking forward, while these things should be sticking backwards, so it's a bit of that kind of cylinder. And from there, we get our distances. So this eye starts here, and this eye starts further away. So that's the distortion we're getting. And if you don't do that, it feels like this part of the face is gonna fall off. Cool translucency, by the way, because it's actually justified by the lighting in this case. So yeah, these are my thoughts. I'll see what else I want to do. Maybe I feel like a bit more definition on the keys would be a good idea, because they're like, especially their edges are a bit too fluffy for something that's so close to the camera. So it should be defined relatively well. If we're close to something, it needs to be in good detail. That's the point of being close. Anyway, let's see what I can do, and then we'll talk the results. Alright, almost done here. Right now I'm fixing this one issue that I noticed with the shading. Overall, the light is coming from proper angles, but when it comes to not only shading from right to left, but also from top to bottom, in this case the light is like from this side, sort of, this is the brightest spot. That means that the bottom of the muscle should be darkened. And in the original, there's no vertical shading, only horizontal shading. And since muscles are separate like bumps on the surface, they're also having this arc vertically. In this case, on the ribs right here, these muscles, they also need to have the shading. It looks weird when the surface is facing down like that, and it's still really bright. It's like inconsistent with the rest of the lighting. Now, I did quite a few things. I guess the main one would be embracing the shadow where it's due. Yeah, not going that crazy with reflected lighting the way the original was. Because while this kind of detail is sort of pretty on its own, in general it looks kind of weird, like we're having the lighting from the back, but the front is really well lit, like why? It sort of makes this all over the place lighting that's not saying anything. If you just remove the details from here, I only added some aerial perspective, so we do have some lit up area in here, but it's not the detail, it's just the fog, the mist in a way, that is supporting the much darker fingers right here. They're in this dark corner of the piano or whatever, and they're facing away from all the lights, so I really made them dark, because there's no aerial perspective on them, no extra lighting on them. Why would they be really bright? It makes no sense, so I really toned them down completely. So I reworked the hand on the left as I promised with that pose, kind of searched it a little bit. Since I raised this surface, I made it brighter, as it should, and the pinky is catching that light that's coming from the side here. So everything's more or less consistent. This may be a bit too bright. Yeah, it's still like not perfect. The tilt of the hand is a bit weird, but I'm just painting over here, guys. Kind of struggled a bit with this area in here, sort of got confused with fixing it. Yeah, it's about the knowledge of mine about this area. Like there's this group of muscles that connect to the chest from here and they end like that. And then there's this trapezius thing in the back, and there's the clavicle, and something in between is pretty much nothing, I guess. How about I just embrace that a little bit? I think this area generally should be darker than a bit too much. I don't know. This is a bit of a weird thing, since the guy is really like skinny, like dry. He has zero fat, apparently, like a very cadaver look. So that relies heavily on anatomy. If you really want to define that area, then you should like know it. I know, I don't feel like looking up anything today. I guess that muscle is a bit too big. It looks like a tumor. Yeah, okay, it looks kind of symmetrical and nice in here. Oh yeah, it's very different. So yeah, like looking up muscles, trying to define their shapes with the shading I talked about. And yeah, another thing, the biggest thing, I guess, the biggest change about the picture is that it's really bright. And that's one interesting talk right here. To paint dark lighting, you shouldn't use dark colors. Like a dark story shouldn't be literally dark. Like, I'm not talking about dark mood at all. Dark, like visually dark. Like, if you're painting a dark place, you still shouldn't be making the whole picture just really, really dark. It's pretty much a mistake to do that ever. And it mostly comes from that uncertainty on how to make things mysterious and looking dark. That comes from this struggle with the face, I think. That it just kept not looking mysterious, so everything needs to be like darker and darker all together. When you paint something, to show someone in the dark, you just need to choose a dark side. But there still should be the brightest area somewhere. If it's a dark scene is from the back, probably, and that part needs to introduce enough dynamic range. Like this brightness should be like at least relatively close to white. Like I'm not saying it should go like here necessarily. No, you can dim it down a bit if you don't want to make it like look really bright or something. I don't know, the backlighting. But yeah, it needs to be out there. It needs to be noticeably brighter. In here, the brightest spot was like barely over the middle, and in the darkest areas, it's like we have details that are this bright. So the dynamic range is just this. That's really low. Well, I mean, I'm not grabbing the actual shadow as going dark, but we have a bunch of details in here, and the details on the light side is not that bright, so everything is like squished. The contrast of the picture is very low, so instead, you can just give up the details in the dark. By the way, I just thought of it, like, I was looking at these shadows, and they were like kind of brown, and then I looked at the black keys right here, and they're all absolutely pitch black. Like, it's cool that they're black, but they're reflective as well, so they will be reflecting this ambient lighting. And like, keep one side dark so it would look like an actual reflection. But yeah, they need to be like that, because otherwise they look wrong, being so black. And yeah, a bit of a Fresnel gradient. This guy is so intense. He reminds me of the band called My Own Private Alaska. The piano keys and the screaming guy really reminds me of that. Also, yeah, I defined a whole bunch of... Wow, this is a drastic change. Let's go with this. Define a bunch of tiny masses, like thought of the emotional, expressive wrinkles and everything. Really worked out well. Again, really important to follow the lighting direction on anything you add, so it would look appropriate. Made the mouth dark, because having all those teeth visible in the mouth, that's a bit too much. So yeah, this trick of having the mysterious, actually dark side of the character and introducing more details from just the falling, cascading light from the back. That's a trick that a lot of submissions with the dark artwork, they miss out on that. So yeah, I think you guys should really like get more familiar with this concept, because it's otherwise really hard to visualize something in the dark and mysterious, and so it would look actually cool and creepy, you know? When a face is like screaming like that, you can't just let the viewer see all of it. It's not the way it goes. Dramatic lighting is a thing for a reason. So yeah, this is it. Thank you, Tattoo. Thank you, Tattoo, for your submission. This was a very dramatic and cool dude. Was really fun experimenting with the lighting in here and everything. So yeah, thank you for this cool artwork. To everyone else, sorry guys that this is just one submission over Pain. I just felt like I should just stick with one today. I'll probably do another one, like several submissions over Pain very soon, like in a week or two, so look forward to that. Tell me guys what you think about the result, and yeah, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Boom, here's some surprise extra process at the end. So as I was editing the episode, I actually noticed I left a very strong aerial perspective on the head and overall the upper body of the character. And it was really off. That's not what I meant when I said that the overall picture should be brighter. This mistake actually happened because I used curves to brighten up the whole picture, so it brightened up the aerial perspective as well too much. And while we have this super dark big hand right next to the camera, that super strong fog really doesn't work on the character, so I went ahead and created a soft light layer and used just a very transparent black brush to increase the contrast of the shadows on the upper body. And that did exactly what I needed, so it left all the bright areas intact while making the shadows darker as they should, bringing the character out of the aerial perspective closer to us. And yeah, aside from that, I added a couple more fixes, mostly on little details on the hands. And yeah, overall the picture turned out pretty cool. The only thing I would actually improve if I would be going for my own finalized big painting result, I would really work on those keys at the bottom, because the piano is really mushy right now. And if it would feature some cool looking, precise, sharp details of hard piano keys, that would look really cool and play well with this detailed anatomy. So yeah, these are some extra thoughts at the end, and here's the final result. Bye!